What's going on, everybody? The Original Mako back with some more Cult of the Lamb stuff because there's been some more exclusive gameplay that has come out, and they were at some sort of gaming convention type thing called WASD in, I believe it's in London. And Game Informer had a chance to play 20 minutes of exclusive gameplay and talk to the creative director some more. So we have some full, uncut, untouched gameplay with some, Q&A type stuff going on in the background. Some of the stuff we've heard before from other reveals, but I figured it was important to show you guys this because it's, like I said, full, uncut gameplay as they're going through it, and it's, it's cool to see the kind of beginning of the game and where you go from there. And there's a couple small things that I want to touch on. It didn't reveal too much, but it did reveal some things that I wanted to talk about. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop into it and refresh that because that's unprofessional. So yeah, a lot of this is going to be watching, like I said, because there wasn't too much to touch on, but we'll talk about some stuff, and let's let it go.
Hello friends, welcome to a special new gameplay today. I am Alex Stadnik, and I am joined by a very special group here. We have Wes LeBlanc, the news hound himself. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very excited to watch this demo that I've played many, many times.
Yes, and obviously Wes is a special enough addition as it is, but we are honored today to be joined by Julian Wilton, the creative director over at Massive Monster. Hello, sir.
Woohoo, hello, good to be here.
How are you today?
I'm lovely.
Good. We are so excited to have you because we are playing a little game called Cult of the Lamb that you guys have been developing for a little bit here now, right?
Yeah, that's right. We've probably been working on it maybe, probably coming up to like 3 years now, but yeah, nearly there.
That's exciting. My first question, and one I've been dying to ask you is, if you're unfamiliar with Cult of the Lamb, darker game with animals forming a cult. Y'all okay? Do you need a hug or anything like that?
I mean, honestly, I'll take one if you're offering. But
For sure.
yeah, no, we're going good. I think with this game, we just wanted to, explore our darker sides compared to like our previous games. So yeah, and I love some horror, so yeah.
Right.
So let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. Where did the
So, start of the game, obviously you get sacrificed by a cult, and now you get ready to start your own cult, and you have to get all these followers and what have you. Once again, just the vibrancy of the colors and the contrast and stuff, I think looks so good in terms of the art style. And I mean, I can't compliment this art style enough. So anyway, just start of the game, kind of the storyline getting laid out there.
because Wes and I have talked about after playing it the inspirations we feel, but like where did the inspiration for this concept come from? Because the visual style is very unique. The combination of the gameplay.
It'd probably be better actually if I go no overlay at all for this, no webcam, since it's gonna be a lot of watching, like I said. So we'll just let this go for now.
Is very unique and it meshes very well. But like, where did all that come from?
I think like really a lot of it just came from like iterations, because basically this kind of like 3 different games before this one. Like it was kind of like one about like running a hell, and then there was one where you're on the back of a flying whale and all this stuff. So kind of just trying stuff out. But like kind of how we got here was like inspirations from like cartoon shows, because I really like cartoon shows. Like obviously you get a bit of like Gravity Falls there. That kind of mysteries going on, but
Gravity Falls inspiration, you'll love to see it. So you get thrown into a dungeon right away, and then as you can see here, we kind of saw this in the last gameplay reveal, but kind of the pathing for dungeons. Obviously this is the very first one you ever enter, so it's going to be pretty linear, but in the future you'll have, more choices.
bit of secrets. They kind of have this like darker side, but not too like occult.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like some horror movies like Midsummer and stuff like that, where they
Nice.
it's like it's kind of like this messed up cult, but it's very like flowery and beautiful and colorful.
Right.
So yeah, kind of mixing in those elements.
Yeah, we said Happy Tree Friends on the podcast.
Yeah,
a little bit,
that's
yeah.
quite a one as well, I reckon.
Yeah, For sure. Can you talk about, so maybe for the people who don't know, this is kind of, and forgive me if this is a mischaracterization, but like a roguelike meets almost Animal Crossing, right? Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I feel like I don't even really know what a roguelike is. So I'm not too sure, but I think like how I describe it is kind of like it's kind of like a dungeon crawler meets a kind of base builder colony sim.
So when I first heard this, I got a little bit scared because the creative director of the game was like, I don't even really know what a roguelike is now. It's not, I think a good way to describe it is dungeon crawler base building, like he said. But we'll find out later, and I'll talk about it later, that it is similar-ish in ways to roguelike. So it's probably more of a roguelite type of game. But still a game that I think is going to be extremely, extremely exciting.
So the kind of way that works is that you kind of, there's this big dangerous world out there, and you kind of go out and you kind of find followers, you bring them back to your base, and then you kind of have to like look after their needs and kind of keep them happy and stuff like that. But while they're doing that, they'll kind of like pray at a shrine to you that kind of makes you stronger and kind of unlocks new stuff. And yeah, it kind of, you're just kind of getting stronger through kind of getting these followers and having a little cult.
just a little cult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it casual, of course. You know, I feel like this merging of keeping it casual, of course.
So I just wanted to do a quick look at, this is the first time we ever get to see actual loot in the game. So you can see there's a nice integrated comparison system where it'll tell you if you have more damage and more speed compared to the weapon you're currently using. But it looks like each weapon will also have a sort of unique trait as well, like the Vampiric Dagger, a chance to heal the wielder using the life force of a slain foe. So that's cool. We love to see that. This is the first look at any type of loot in the game. So big fan of how it looks.
You know, I feel like this merging of gameplay is really impressive in the 20 minutes that we've gotten to play. But I feel like some games, like, you know, don't either, like they go one direction or the other, but y'all have chosen to blend these disparate elements here. Like, what were the challenges with that? I can't imagine that was super easy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was it was a bit difficult, to be honest. Like, it was like, the biggest problem was just trying to like actually kind of combine the two loops and kind of make it motivating to like keep you going into the next half of the game. So I think that was definitely the hardest, and we kind of tried a lot of things with that, and kind of even the idea of like running a cult, like how do you even apply that to this loop, which was a lot of effort, and like I think it only like recently started to come together, all the elements kind of working together. So yeah, it's a bit difficult, but I think we kind of looked at a few games as kind of reference that kind of do a bit similar thing. Games like Slime Ranchers and like Moonlighter and stuff like that, where they kind of have this bit more of a base or bit more of a two.
Now, I can't speak for Slime Ranchers because I never played it, but I have played Moonlighter, and I do think Moonlighter is a very interesting one because now there's no base building elements, obviously, but you have to go into the dungeon, you have to get gear, you have to get materials or whatever, come back, sell it, and that's how you keep progressing forward. So having a similar type of thing with this game where you are motivated, the game needs you to go into the dungeon to get stuff, to get stronger, but to also make your base better and bigger is a really cool blending of these two types of games. So I think it's super cool and can't wait to see how that all plays out.
Two sides of a loop kind of going on. So using those as reference a bit.
Cool.
Was it always going to be like, was it always cute? I mean, obviously it's dark and horrific in some ways, but like you're playing as a very cute lamb who's just mutilating a bunch of people and finding cult followers.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help myself, honestly. Like I don't know.
Not much to talk about here. This is, I mean, I want to break down as much as I can, and this is just the post dungeon screen gives you all the loot that you got, all the floors you completed, the time, and the amount of kills in that dungeon. I don't think it's going to be a there's gonna be a good way to, because I don't think the dungeons are all set in stone. So like speed running and stuff, not sure how that would work. But there is a timer there in case you want to, just see how quick you can blaze through dungeons.
Myself. Because I don't know, one of our previous games, the Adventure Pal is very cute and very kind of like adventure timey. But a lot of people thought like, oh, it's a bit of a kids game or something. So this time I was like, nah, we're making it darker. We're adding those dark elements, and it is just like it kind of makes the cute stuff kind of stand out a bit more as well. If the kind of like the rest of the world is a bit darker. But yeah, I can't help myself. I just love a cute little face.
Yeah. Was there? Well, and I think it lends it to, I don't know.
So you get the follower in the dungeon, and then they're here. You have to indoctrinate them,
It's
so
maybe
you can
not-
go up to them,
I don't know if this is the best comparison, but it's like something like
and you can. There is a customize option, which I believe I mentioned this in the last video, but you can unlock different looks for your followers, and each one can be customized to fit any look that you have unlocked. So if you want them all to be, what is that? Is that a goat, a cow? I don't know. If you want all of them to be whatever animal this is, you can turn them all into that animal. If you want them to be something else you have unlocked, you can turn all of them into that. You can do some of each. Whatever you want to do. There's no benefits to each different type of skin, but just for sheer looks, you can mess around with it and change it how you want. I'm assuming that's what the customize is.
Story, right, where it's like this is cute and adorable, but also like this world will beat you down and is dark. You know what I mean? Like,
so after you indoctrinate them, you can give them the option to either mine stone or clear rubble to collect stone. You get to or clear rubble to collect stone or chop trees for timber. So you get to kind of pick what kind of resources you want your followers to grab for you, as well as doing some work yourself.
Yeah.
Was there anything, obviously y'all are striking a certain tone here, was there anything that you couldn't include, or you guys looked around the writer's table and was like, this is maybe a little too much?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does happen a lot. Like we'll kind of have some like more wacky ideas and we're like, oh, I should probably tone it down. Like we do kind of get away.
So this is the first look at the base building, resource collecting type of stuff here. And it looks like, now I don't know, but at the start there's a lot of, stone and wood that you can get. There's some berries around as well. But I think a big part of, getting new buildings and upgrading stuff is going to be getting resources from dungeons, because it seems like there's only a few resources out here and potentially a relatively limited amount of them. So I think that's going to be kind of part of the way that they push you into the dungeons, is in order to progress your base, you have to have materials that you have to get from the dungeons. And in order to get through certain dungeons, you have to have stuff done in your base. So I think that's how they're going to kind of even out both sides of the game.
With quite a bit, because there is like kind of locations in the world that you'll find as well, and then kind of through those and through the characters we can kind of be a bit more silly and stuff. But there is definitely like a few kind of wacky things still in there. Like there's kind of like a follower will kind of give you a quest to like play a prank on another follower, and you kind of like feed him a meal made of poop. So there's it's kind of a follow will kind
I kinda
of
wanted
give
to
you a
read that
quest
description.
To, like,
I
play a
don't remember
prank on
reading it
another
earlier.
follower,
Hold on.
and you kind of like feed him a meal made of poop. So there's
Yeah.
like there is like
Okay, so it looks like there's gonna be a few different types of things that you can build. Now I don't know if this is all just for building stuff, because maybe building stuff for your followers, building stuff for your faith, and building stuff for something else. But anyway, cooking fire cooks raw items, turns them into meals that followers can eat, and it can only be built once. Super simple to make, it looks like, and once again, keeping your followers happy and fed is part of the type of game that it is. So makes sense, I suppose.
it's kind of a balance between trying
Grid building system, which is nice. You can make things look nice and clean. Touch on that as well.
to get in some of those more wacky ideas, but trying to keep the tone right a bit still.
Right, for sure. Now, I think a lot of people are going to be drawn into, like, we talked about the
Okay, now we might as well read through those
right.
so we can learn a little bit about
Now,
the
I
as
think
learn
a
as
lot of
much as we
people are gonna be
can.
drawn
So, the hunger of your cult can be seen in the top left. When it gets too low, followers will begin to starve.
to, like,
Find more food while crusading. Pick routes that pass through foraging locations. So, as you can see, it shows one of the different icons that we haven't seen yet in a dungeon. If you see this, it looks like there's some sort of food items in there.
we talked about the
And you can plant farms to grow your own food. Seeds can be purchased or found while crusading. So, lots of different options there. Cool. Love to see it.
the two halves of this game, right? What can people who do like Animal Crossing and these builder games, like, what can they look forward to here? What are y'all doing a little different that people can look forward to?
Yeah, so I guess I think it's the kind of the followers are kind of really the kind of the heart of the game, and we kind of through them you'll kind of you'll have your favorites, you'll have some guys you hate, they're really annoying, and you can kind of you can kind of marry some of them.
I'm intrigued.
Through them you'll kind of you'll
I'm
have your
intrigued. There is a
favorites, you'll have some guys you hate, they're really annoying.
a little cooking mini game here. Now this one seems extremely easy, but maybe the harder the dish is to make, the smaller this bar is, and it might be actually something that you kind of have to focus on and pay attention to. Because if all of them are this easy, then I don't even see the point of having the cooking mini game. But only time will tell, I suppose.
And you can kind of you can kind of marry some of them, you can do little rituals, you can sacrifice someone if they're kind of annoying you, so it's kind of I think it's all about those like interactions you have with the followers and kind of building up that connection, and then just kind of also kind of giving a nice, hopefully gentle but also challenging kind of dungeon crawling experience. So it is being something.
So the start of the game, I think, does a really good job of giving you a good taste of both sides of the game. It starts you in a dungeon, gets you a new follower, and then sends you back to base where you indoctrinate that follower and build a couple of things before sending you back into the dungeons to get more followers and more gold. So I think the beginning of the game does a really good job of
in that audience where like we are hitting
pushing you to do both and giving you a small
like,
taste of what you're
some
going
people
to
that
be
may be a
doing.
bit more casual that might lean more into the base, and then some people that are a bit more dungeon focused that don't usually play Animal Crossing or something. So we definitely want to keep both people happy. Hopefully there's a bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, most definitely. And Wes, sorry, I'm dominating, so if you want to
No,
jump
you're
in.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, so speaking to the combat, so we only got to play, like 20 minutes of the demo, and I got a sword and an axe and a couple other things. Like, how deep are
First of all, energy sword from Halo. You'll love to see it. That's kind of sick. I'm a big fan. I didn't see its. What is its? Does it have an exclusive?
and a couple other things? Like,
Chance to deal a crit when attacking. Oh, cool. But also this question is very important. He's talking about the loot in the game, but I'm gonna pause again when we look at this next
how
thing
deep,
probably.
are we going in the combat? Here you can see we've got a very
So not only do you get weapons, you can also have these curses, which are like spells that you can use. So obviously this one is you shoot a piercing bolt of fire, hold it, and release it to make it explosive. So kind of cool to have that as well.
Covenant-looking energy sword type of thing.
Yeah.
And then like a little flame ball. How much more can people expect to kind of vary up their runs, since each weapon is random, right?
Yeah, well, the way it works is kind of like you kind of do daily sermons and stuff like that, and when you do that, you can kind of build up a bit of devotion, and through that devotion, you unlock new kind of weapons and curses and stuff like that. And the way that's all done is kind of like you'll unlock some new ice weapons, for example, and that'll kind of be added to the random pool. So you're kind of like building up this collection. And then kind of as you play through the layers, you'll kind of get stronger ones. So you're kind of like inclined to like constantly be kind of swapping up your weapon choices because they're a bit stronger. And then kind of we also have some tarot cards that are kind of in the rooms. I don't think we've been to one yet, but they kind of add a bit more variation as well, kind of on the run. So there might be ones where you do a bit more curse damage or something like that. Drop some hearts. And then we also have another system with like the fleece of the lamb, so you can kind of change up your run quite a bit through that. So like there's one where you kind of do double damage, but you only get one heart or something like that. So they kind of add a bit more like challenge to or a bit more challenge, or they can also work in your favor as well if you kind of get a good combination of like tarot cards and like weapons and stuff like that.
So this was the big thing for me from this entire reveal. This was the biggest part, is that the loot and run building seems like it's going to be a lot more deep than I thought. I didn't think there was going to be this many weapons and curses to choose from, but not only are there plenty of weapons and curses, there are tarot cards that you can get throughout your run. The best way I can just kind of make a one-to-one comparison of those for my Gunfire fans is those are kind of like scrolls in Gunfire, which is really nice. And the Fleece of the Lamb, as he said, is another way to change it. If you find one that you like, you can add that as another layer of build depth. So you have weapons, curses, tarot cards, and fleeces. You've got 4 layers of build depth, which means there is a ton of combinations of runs, builds, and possibilities, which is super exciting as a fan of like roguelike and loot-based games. So I'm super excited about that. It's more in-depth than I thought it was going to be, which really, really excites me. So that's probably my favorite thing that I heard from this entire gameplay session. That plus the energy sword.
Cool.
And so does anything transfer over between runs, or is it you kind of start at a base level and then you build up the pool that you can randomly get things from?
Yeah, that's basically it. There is yeah, I think we've like tried a lot of those things where you kind of get a bit of a fit out before, but it hadn't worked super well. But you can also do a couple of other things. So you can
Okay, so before, this is kind of an important answer as well that he's talking about, but these are an example of tarot cards. You get to, for my Binding of Isaac fans, these are, I'd assume, basically soul hearts, or you could just get half of an actual heart as well, but this is the kind of differences in tarot cards that you can find.
build like a little demon summoning circle thing at your base, and that'll turn your followers into these like little demons that'll like help you in the dungeon, so they can kind of like shoot bullets and kind of they'll want to like drop hearts off for you and stuff like that. So I think that's the main connection at the moment between like dungeon and base with combat stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay. Cool. We've been cruising along, right? You know, you're not going to be able to hear the music super well right now, but I'd be remiss if we didn't bring up the score behind this. And it's funny because I remember watching the trailer when y'all revealed it. I think it was at Summer Games Fest last year, right?
So this is an example of a foraging room that they showed earlier.
Was it Gamescom? Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, it was
Gamescom.
Gamescom. Excuse me. Yes. Excuse me.
Jeff Keighley was there somewhere.
Yeah,
And here's a mini
Jeff
boss
was around.
example area.
Yeah,
So
but then I
also
remember,
kind of an
like,
important
so
thing.
We were live streaming it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool." But then I went and watched the trailer, and the score was something that was really was interesting to me. So I looked up Riverboy, aka
nice.
Is it Nariana?
Ryan. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And he's great, and this score is fantastic. It's the lo-fi beats to murder to.
It's so good.
Yeah. How has that process been? Like, you know, you can talk about like inspiration, like his collaboration and that kind of stuff. Like, because the music's been great so far.
Yeah, of course. Like, I actually I used to actually go to like his gigs when he was doing music under like Willow.
tentacles. Yeah, you know, listen, I don't think I have to say it, but anytime there's a game with tentacles and furry creatures, you know, it's going to appeal to some people. So big brain there from the developers, huge brain on that one. But anyway, you got to touch on that a little bit at least.
Beats, which is
really?
like they're amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of followed him on Twitter or whatever, and he like hit me up and he's like, "Oh, do you make games?" And yeah, so we kind of started collabing on something. We collabed on a small mobile game, and it went really well. So then we got him on this. But it's been really good having that kind of like unique kind of position where he's from the kind of more commercial music world and is coming into games, so he's kind of bringing across some of those like, I don't know, some of those ideas that people do in commercial music. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just like, honestly, everything he makes, I'm like, bang, good to go. Like,
For sure. Because you can definitely hear, like, listening to his music on like Spotify, you can definitely hear the influence in this game. But so like, what did y'all do on your side to kind of tune it, right? Or like, was the inspiration for that like you
Sounds
guys
of
adding
hell.
like the sounds of hell, yeah, like vocally and like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think we kind of just tried out a bunch of stuff and kind of tried to figure out the kind of motifs of it. Yeah, we tried out.
Kind of cool here. This is a pretty interesting way to do it. Is post mini boss fight here. You have 4 options, and you get to pick what you most need at the time. You can't get all of them, but you get to choose, which means your decisions are slightly more important, which is just something cool. So
Out a bunch of ideas. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I sent him like a kind of Spotify playlist of like all the kind of music I'd be interested in. I'm kind of like quite abstract, like a lot of weird kind of stuff, and I think he was kind of taking that and trying to apply something to it. I think I know he looked at like Binding of Isaac music as well, and
Cool.
quite a few other games just to kind of get some point of context of like, how do you even make game music, whatever.
I did want to before we let you go, boss battles, right? We just saw like the first one. Are they gonna be like the first one?
I was gonna just let you take a look at that if you want. You don't currently have a weapon equipped, so actually there's no. Anyway, a devastating melee attack that can be charged for increased power.
Boss
So,
battles.
another
right?
look at the
we just
loot
saw
there.
like the first one. Are they gonna be? Is that how every run is going to end? Is meeting a creature like that can be turned into a follower?
Yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, you're kind of it is a bit kind of like linear at the moment with you kind of go in a dungeon. There's kind of like 3 mini bosses, and you kind of fight each one of those. Each time you kill them, get a little follow.
A quick point: it might not. Maybe it's like just a dialect type of thing, but he said it's very linear at the moment, which the at the moment either means 2 things. 1, they're planning on adding more stuff after release, or 2, the game is not releasing for multiple more months. Hopefully the latter, or hopefully the former of that. But anyways, maybe it means nothing at all, but just kind of a little thing there.
Follower, and then once you've done 3 of them, you kind of verse the cult leaders. So they're kind of like in the background there. So there's like the tennis ball head looking dude. There's like a frog, and then jellyfish and stuff. So you'll kind of go through and battle those. So it's kind of the idea is like, if you do die in them, you can kind of rebattle it and kind of go back in, and kind of as you're getting stronger, you're kind of hopefully can overcome them if you're having a bit more trouble with it.
For
Or
sure.
you might just get better loadout, or kind of just get better at the game.
Yeah.
So and then after that, I think there's another mini boss. So there's probably like 4, 8, 12, 16, 60. There's probably like 20 bosses or something in the game. It's quite a lot.
Wow.
So 20 bosses is a good amount. You love to hear that. And it sounds like all the mini bosses you can kind of convert to your own followers, and then you fight the big boy after you convert all of the followers. You fight or all the mini bosses. You fight the big boss, and it keeps going like that for a bit. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
For sure. Cool. Wes, do you have any more questions?
No, I mean, other than like, I just want to play this now. Can you just send me the full game?
yeah, true.
Yeah, I'll be in the DMs.
Yeah. Perfect. What y'all have been developing this 3 years, and I don't know if you know this, but the world has been looking similar to Cult of the Lamb, actually, if I'm not mistaken. What's been the toughest challenges for you and the team, and then what are you most proud of?
Yeah, well, it is kind of interesting because like the other directors in the company, we've always kind of worked remotely anyway, so we've never even worked in person. So kind of changing it up to that didn't impact things like hugely. I think the main difficulty was the kind of like concepting stage and kind of iterating on it and trying to figure out like how to actually turn it into something when you can't be in a room and I don't know, draw on a whiteboard or something like that.
For
and
sure.
Kind of really suss it out like that. But we've also kind of grown the team in Melbourne a bit, so we have some great people working with us in Australia. So yeah, and I think that's probably one part I'm really proud of is just like the kind of team we have at the moment. Everyone's kind of like just killing it, and kind of have really got behind the kind of vision and kind of tone for the game.
Cool. Well, Julian, I can't thank you enough for joining us here. I hope you had fun talking about the game,
it's been
and I know I
So that's pretty much it. There's nothing else of note to look at or anything here. So cool. I'm still invested. I'm still super excited. The loot thing really excites me. It means we're gonna have a lot of different options for builds and different ways to play, which is always fun and exciting. The base building seems fun. The boss fights seem good. Everything so far has been looking really good, and I can't wait for this game. As always, I will keep you guys up to date with all things Cult of the Lamb. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also check out the Twitch link down below. If you want to see me live on Twitch, I might be streaming right as you're watching this. We have a lot of fun over there, so check it out. I would really appreciate it. Regardless, though, thank you guys so much for all the support. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me know what you think of the new gameplay down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.